Okay, recording now.
Hey, God.
Oh!
Did our recording start off on this?
Yes, yes, it did. Yes,
Oh
it did.
my
Okay.
God.
Hi, YouTube. So we're recording this after the game, the McMcmcGregor House game, because we wanted to talk about it, and I wanted to talk about like all the cool stuff that went into making it, and we just got shown a fucking creepy ass Goosebumps doll, which no, um,
Why do you even own that?
What a great question.
why are you bringing it closer to the camera?
Stop! We've had
Hello,
enough puppets for
everyone.
today.
It's so nice to see you.
It I specifically didn't put in one of those dolls for a reason.
The neck.
Huh. Okay, well, I guess this is payback to me. Okay. So actually that brings me to my
I
first thing. So first off, something I said earlier before we decided to record this. This was heavily inspired by DHMIS. If you haven't seen the new season, go check it out. It was also inspired by a fan video song called As Above So Below, which is so amazing. Please go watch it. To everyone who watches this video, it's so worth it. It's a short little song, but it plus its animation is just amazing, and it is the reason why this session happened. um but yeah, so the other thing was the reason why I decided to make this into a puppet thing was also because I'm taking a costume sewing class, and above the class in the ceiling are hand puppets, and it's creepy. And while I was looking at that, I happened to be listening to As Above So Below while I was sewing, because I always have an earbud in listening to something, and those two combined created this session.
Amazing.
So yeah. The other thing was, this is something the general audience, unless you watch our TikToks, don't know anything about. But I sent out a form before, like way before this week, before the session started, which because I created all of their characters, and I told them that it was a form to help me create their characters, and it was kind of. It wasn't a complete lie. It was for two reasons. So it was mostly for getting them into the mindset of the session, but it was also there were a few questions, there were a few specific questions that I was using in the character creation. One of which was favorite household item, um, or not favorite. Out of the following household items, which would you choose? I looked at those to help create the personalities for their characters. Don't ask me how they connect to your personalities. It kind of went A, B, C, D, E, F, and that's how the personalities happen. But um, when you think of home, what do you think of? I wanted to make this place the absolute opposite of everything you guys put into that. Um, there was no significant. A lot of you had like significant others or like comforting family or that sort of thing, and just like warmth and being together. And I wanted to make sure that this house was the opposite. I wanted to make your family annoying to each other. This like unnatural family dynamic that just never would happen in real life. So it just never felt right. And I wanted to make sure there was nowhere you could seek comfort here.
I would like to apologize for putting safety there.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Um, what is your worst fear? Unfortunately, most of you guys have the very good fear of like being forgotten. Uh, and since this was not going to be anywhere near that, I wasn't able to use that as much as I wanted to. So screw you all. No, I'm kidding. That's a um.
I I would love to tell you what I almost put in there for my fear. Um, I have a irrational fear of Easter bunny costumes, and I'm so glad I didn't tell you that because if I was confronted with an Easter bunny in this game, I would have fucking lost it.
I could have so slipped that in, and I'm upset that you didn't put that in there.
I
Uh,
I'm so glad.
there was the question, how long has it been since you looked under your kitchen sink? That was purely to get you guys in the mood of like the session. Is there a part of your house that you're scared of? I want to make you guys start thinking of scary parts of your house and start making you guys not trust your own house. Because that was going to help this session. Is there anything buried in your yard? The only answer to that is yes. In the first draft of this, the answer to where the motherboard was going to be buried in the yard. But then I figured out I didn't want you guys to ever leave the house, and I didn't want to get that confusing by saying, "Oh yeah, the yard is part of the house." So that got cut. But originally that was a clue. There's then the Morse code question, which translates to the question translates to "you should not be reading this." Answer A translates to "he is watching." Answer B is "she is listening." And answer C is "they are here." Most of you chose C, and I'm not sure why. Only one of you, Isabella, who didn't take the time to translate it, chose B. And I'm not sure why that is. On a scale of 13 to 7, how long would you watch a home movie of your first kiss? The answer to that was a month, day, year. Answer. That was purely just to be as weird of a question as I could, to get you guys again in the mindset of things. What do you think happens after you die? You guys took that question way more seriously than I thought you would, because I got some great answers there. And surprisingly, none of you guys chose the answer. You go in between the core and surface of the earth and perform your life for a superior race known as the Council, which now knowing that none of you have watched the new DHMIS season makes sense because that's a DHMIS quote. And that was meant to clue you in for the game. But I found out during this session, none of you have watched the new season, which makes sense that was the only one that none of you guys picked. If families were real, would you be A? I made sure to pick. I made sure none of you guys got your choice on that one. So I made sure that none of you got. If you chose father, you didn't get father. If you chose mother, you didn't get mother. Any of that sort of stuff. I specifically made it so you wouldn't get the choice that you felt comfortable in. You wouldn't get the role you felt comfortable with.
Oh.
Ah.
Okay.
This entire form was just to help me make this as uncomfortable and creepy of an experience as possible.
How ironic, considering we call ourselves Comfort and Cantrips.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. I'm allowed to do my horror sessions every once in a while.
Oh, speaking of which, when you said like the question, is there somewhere in your house that you're afraid of? I live in my stepfather's house now, and before we moved in, he had an empty room with clowns hanging from the ceiling. Like most of the rooms just had miniature clowns on the ceiling, just hanging from the ceiling on a swing, doing like weird clown things. And me and my mom immediately were just like, that has to go.
I'm sorry, your father may be a DILF, but that is creepy as
No.
fuck.
My stepfather. My
Oh.
father. A lot of people do think he is a DILF, but my stepdad.
What is wrong with your stepdad?
No.
Okay. I think there's things we need to unpack there at a later date. But for now, so yeah, after that, the next big, which by the way, all of you caught on immediately that it was going to be a horror game, even though I want to tell you guys, I never said it was going to be a horror game throughout the entire process. I never said it was going to be a horror game.
You never said that?
You're just unsettling.
No, I never said it was going to be a horror game. Ever.
I
I
think
mean,
I just guessed it was horror based because of the secret rules that you sent.
Oh yes, we'll get into those later. We'll get into those later. 'Cause
It was the Morse code that clued me into it being horror.
I figured that would clue most of you in. Which, by the way, Isabella never translated that until really, really late, when I kind of forced her to. So yeah,
And I apologize for that.
no, it's fine. It's fine.
It was, oh my god, guys! It
Oh,
was
we'll get
so
into that in a minute. By the way, all of you guys got the easy secret rules, and I'll tell you about Isabella's in a minute. But we're gonna talk about everyone's secret rules in a second because I want you guys to each share them after I tell you about the next one. So, after I sent you guys all your characters, which, by the way, Isabella, your character, I saw that puppet because I looked up little brother puppet, and I saw that one, and I just went, "That's it. That is the one we're using." And yeah, that kind of was how it worked for all of them. Because like Zeta's, I immediately went, "That's the perfect puppet for Zeta. That's perfect." And Zeta, you having Dridian's VTuber model, yeah, that one. It's so. Thank you so much. That was so amazing. Absolutely wonderful. When did you do that?
I had the idea when I first saw the puppet. Then I forgot to do it until we'd started the stream, so I was scrambling to make it at the start of.
You have.
made
That's
that
a great model for like
on the
last
fly?
minute.
Yeah.
And that also ended with some perfect timing, I just want to say. I'm so glad I had you go last because that was accidental. That was purely accidental.
If you had me go first, it wouldn't have been ready in time.
Oh, that's so sad. I'm glad I got it in the right order. So the next thing I sent was you will and like we talked during this, like we talked naturally, but the next thing I sent relating to this was you will notice you don't have weapons because this is almost entirely RP game and shouldn't have much of any combat, which was true. There was only one actual combat and that was at the end. The rest was just insta death traps. Or insta death choices, like ripping off the head of Zeta's character, that sort of thing. And then I sent Ehol Ver Brooks Brookshoy, and that was a Caesar shift cipher.
I thought it was drop 13, but it wasn't.
Yeah, I didn't even try.
Who was able to figure that one out?
I did, but it was only after we had our video call, and the next day I was like, "This motherfucker! I bet this one's a puzzle too." And so I went to Google, and I typed in common puzzles that use the alphabet, and it was the second one I tried. And I said, "I said, you bastard! I figured it out, but I put it in the
Yes,
Caesar
I translated that. It was very funny. But what that said was, it was something like, don't listen to them. They're lying. It's so you can't defend yourself. Or don't believe them. It's so you can't defend yourself. Something like that. When I was talking in code, in character, so me talking was meant to be the god that you had found. When I was talking in code was meant to be some external force trying to warn you. And so, yeah, so that was everything that was sent to like everyone. That was all the stuff that was sent to everyone. Now we're going to go through the secret rules. And I want to start, and I don't know if I want to end. We're going to start with Atlas and we're going to end with Isabel. So Atlas, can you tell them your first secret rules? We'll talk about the second iteration in a minute, but I want you to tell them about your first secret rules.
Okay, my first secret rules were no one is allowed to leave the house. Upstairs is dangerous. No one is to go upstairs. No matter what, always follow along with what the teacher tells you to do. You may kill your family if need be. Don't worry, they always come back.
Oh,
Yeah.
That was Atlas's. That is why Atlas got the wrench. Was so they could kill you if need be.
Don't worry, they always come back.
Sue or Faye, could you tell them your secret rules? The first iteration, not the second.
Okay, the first one is you must feed the plants. 2, upstairs is dangerous. No one is to go upstairs. 3, no matter what, always follow along with what the teacher tells you to do. And 4, always sew up the children if they get an ouchie.
Which you only had to do once, because there was only one time you were able to save them. Which ironically was the only one that wasn't made out of felt, which I found very funny.
so I'm recording the screen, so I can't get the exact wording of mine. But
Do you want me to read off yours, Zeta?
No, I remember the general idea. It's just
Okay.
I don't know the exact wording. When it comes to the second stage ones, you're going to need to get the exact wording. But the general ideas of my secret rules were: rule 1 was something about pestering.
Always pester your brother if you get the
Always-
chance.
Always pester the brother if I get the chance. Rule 2 was tangle my brother's strings if he ever acts up or is annoying. And the third one was always do what the teacher says.
Mhm.
No
I think
matter
everyone
what.
got. I think everyone got the always do what the teacher says rules. All right, Isabella, please tell them about your first iteration of rules.
My 3 rules were pranking your sister is a must, but don't hurt her. A good prank is one everyone can walk away from laughing. My second was if my strings get tangled, ask my mother for help. Never ask your father. And the third rule was no matter what, always follow along with what the teacher tells you to do.
Can you tell them what was interesting about those rules?
They were all crossed out.
And underneath?
Was a series of dots and dashes that when I looked at it, I thought maybe it was Morse code and tried translating it and nothing showed up. And I went, okay, must be broken. This is a mistake. And I went about my way. I was later informed, however, that was not true. And so after a day of waking up at 3:30 a.m., working with children, and getting home at 4:30, I finally am on a phone call with going through 40 minutes for me to solve it. And it was in binary the entire time, and I was so pissed.
It was just the
But
dots and dashes were the zeros and ones replaced.
I was so angry. But after finally deciphering it, it read, "Run, run, run, run! You cannot stay here. Don't let them know you know. Your family cannot be trusted. Fear the teacher."
So yes, so that was the
Sorry,
first
guys.
iteration. So that was the first iteration of rules that everyone got, and I wasn't sure how you all would play along with it. The teacher, by the way, there was 2 teachers that it could have been, and I didn't decide until today which teacher I was going to use. There was the
Great.
TV, which was going to teach you about movie magic, or there was going to be or Johanna was going to be the teacher. But I decided to keep but I decided to keep Johanna as the mailman to play along in the loops, and instead made the TB and the VHS player the teacher to teach about moving magic. Also, originally you guys were gonna have 4 neighbors that were each of the 4 androids, and I decided to cut that and move them all into one person, which was the male guy.
Oh.
So as you guys went through it, I wanted to slowly introduce the horror of it as the time went on, and I'm not sure how well I did on that.
I've been on pins and needles since we started, so pretty good.
Utterly terrifying. This entire thing is very unnerving.
I don't remember whose voice I'm using for the teacher. I remember it has to do with the hoy, and I know that was it Goofy?
Goofy?
Was I stealing Goofy's
Yeah, that's
voice?
Goofy.
Goofy?
Yeah.
It's like
I
Goofy,
I
but
made
it also
Goofy terrifying. Okay,
It's
Wait, have
Goofy
you
mixed
seen
with Mickey
Inside
Mouse for
Out?
some reason.
what?
Have you seen Inside Out?
Yes.
It's like the clown in
Right.
Riley's Nightmares.
All right. Yeah, I
Oh
think
my
it was a
God.
mix between the clown, Goofy, and Mickey. I don't know how that voice came about, but and then I decided as we were going that every sentence was going to end with hoy. And I was waiting. I knew I wanted to keep it kind of monotone the entire time, of like always this cheerful, like upbeat. And I was saving when I was going to yell, and I found that perfect moment, and it worked so well. And I was so happy with the reaction that got from finally having the teacher yell. Also, I did intentionally have the cannibal scene happen before the HelloFresh commercial break. Sorry,
Yes.
Oh, that
sorry,
was so
HelloFresh. It's a horror
That is
game.
perfect.
If that doesn't drive people to buy HelloFresh, I don't know what will.
Hello, Fresh is people.
HelloFresh is not people. But that was a lot of fun. Because I wasn't sure how I wanted to put the HelloFresh segment into there originally, but then I was like, oh, it's a movie magic thing. It's gonna be a commercial break, and that's how we're gonna take our break too.
Oh, cannibalism.
Also, I muted my mic. I was here the entire time you guys were talking during the break. I just had my mic muted and was working on the second round of rules because I didn't want to ruin anything by talking, but I also wanted to hear all the insane stuff you guys were coming up with. And I'm kind of sad I didn't unmute you guys for that because I think the audience would have loved hearing you guys go absolutely batshit crazy.
I'm a little surprised you didn't.
I think this
Um,
was the first thing that I stayed here the entire break.
Yeah, like I didn't go downstairs at all during break. I was very invested in this.
Yeah, I don't
I
think
was
any of
considering
us.
getting a snack.
I don't think any of us like got up to even get water or anything during the break.
for the audience, they were terrified, and it was very fun to let. By the way, they almost stumbled across the secret. Like they got so close during that break. I don't know if any of them remember, but they got so close to
That
figuring out
wasn't a
that they were.
genuine theory. It was a joke.
It was a joke, but they got so close to figuring out that they were uh being tormented by something. Like they literally posed a theory of like, oh, we died, and our this is our characters being tortured or haunted or such. And I was like, I was sitting there going, oh my gosh, they are so close to the truth. If they took that seriously, they would have been so close. I suggest everyone go back and watch for my players. Go back and watch when I pulled Isabella aside. It was amazing. Her reactions were great because for those of you guys, or really quickly, I want you guys to each, before we go into that, everyone read off their second round of rules. We'll start with
Okay.
Atlas again.
My second round of rules, the first one is leave the house. The second one is upstairs is upstairs. The third one is no matter what, always follow along with what the teacher tells you to do. And the fourth one is kill your family.
Yep. By the way, for all of your second round of rules, except for Isabella, I crossed out other parts of the rules to create the new rules, which you all saw. But I wanted to tell the audience that. Sue or Faye.
You must feed, and then the plants is crossed out. Upstairs is dangerous. No matter what, always follow what the teacher tells you to do. So the children.
Which I was so sad didn't get put in there.
So
You
the
never sowed the
children.
children, and I was so sad. No, I'm kidding. Zeta, do you want me to read off yours since you're screen capturing? Yeah. The first one was always pester, which is when Zeta really started upping the pestering, and that was played perfectly. Thank you so much, Zeta. You did that amazingly. The second one was tangle your brother's strings, which again, perfect. And the third was no follow the teacher, which again, Zeta, the way you followed your second round of rules was amazing, and I thank you so much because you did it perfectly.
You're welcome. Can I have a gold star?
Yes, you may have a gold star.
Woo!
And then finally, Isabella, could you read? You don't need to read the entire thing. However much you want to read, read your second round of rules.
I think my second round of rules might be better if I just show you guys.
Oh my god.
So that is just the
Oh.
word run over and over
Oh.
and over and over again.
Oh.
I said a thumbs up.
I actually found out that Discord has a character limit through that because I sent too many the first time and I needed to trim it down. There was about double that originally.
Unfortunately, I have to go.
Oh, no worries. Okay. Faye, you can head out if you need to. We're gonna keep talking for a little bit. I really do suggest looking back and watching
Oh, I'm
Isabella's.
definitely going to. My partner wants to see it, so.
No worries. So for the rest of you, not a lot more I wanted to talk about, but just wanted to talk about in the second half. I just wanted to quickly talk about how Isabella's got revealed. So Isabella, when they went upstairs, the reason why upstairs is dangerous, upstairs led to the laboratory where the motherboard was originally.
Oh.
So when they went upstairs, and they did that perfect timing. When they ran upstairs, they appeared into the laboratory as they opened the door, and they noticed that they didn't look the same. And I slowly described their Yosoki, and they looked in the mirror, and that's when all the memories came back. And then they got told by the god, we're gonna play a game. If you can find my motherboard, which you have already seen, and you can guess what it is, but if you can guess it, I'll let you all go. And they very quickly figured out what the motherboard was. Almost
I was so
immediately.
scared it was wrong. I was so scared.
But they grabbed it immediately. But you guys kept it away, even though you weren't meaning to. You guys kept it away so well, which was a purely unintentional players working against their best interest, and I loved it.
And I couldn't say anything. So the entire time I'm like, stop. I'm just trying to help you.
The god told them if they said anything and spoiled the game, everyone would instantly just die.
Oh,
Wow.
They also got told, by the way, if your guys' max HP ever hit 0, your character died. Just permanently. Your character was dead. There
Oh,
was
we're
a
in
chance.
sectioning.
There was a chance your character could have died in this.
Wow, good luck we didn't get close to that.
That's why I made
If you
sure all
die
of
in
you
the
guys had a
game,
good
you
amount
die in real
of
life.
health in this. So that way, as I ticked your guys' health down slowly, it wouldn't like insta kill you.
I had forgotten that you were supposed to take from stamina first, and so when when Atlas did that, like 10 points of damage, I was like, oh fuck.
So yes, so that was perfect. Also, um, there was a wonderful moment that none of you got to see. Although you would have seen Isabella reacting to it, where when she saw the garbage drain or the garbage disposal, I said, "Hurt your sister. Do it. Do it now. You know what to do." And her reaction was just like, "No, no, 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 no." And that was the god talking to her. And it was working out just perfectly. And then when you went over and cleaned the sink, when she said when their backs are turned, I just straight up went, "Oh, okay, she's just gonna throw Zeta's hand in the garbage disposal." I thought that was what was gonna happen for a minute.
I also thought that's what was going to happen, and I wasn't even in on it. I was like, oh, someone's getting someone's getting hurt.
Listen, my second rule was run. That was all I had to do. I had to get out of there, man.
But yeah. By the way, yes, I did intentionally choose the one who did the worst on the Morse code to get the binary cipher.
It's
'Cause I'm a dick.
cruel and unusual.
Oh, but yeah, that was the creation of this. And yeah, this was a lot of me planning this out during my drives to and from college and writing things down randomly. Once again, check out As Above, So Below. Like, it's what inspired this. Uh, I am very glad you all enjoyed it, and I'm sorry I freaked you guys the fuck out.
I loved it.
I'm not a horror fan. This was great. I need like a meditation.
I am a horror fan. This was lovely.
Well,
Same.
thank
This was absolutely amazing.
you. Thank you guys for going through this with me. Thank you guys for playing along. And yeah, to everyone on YouTube, as we upload this, like and subscribe. Thank you guys for being here. I hope you enjoyed getting to hear how this was made. If you haven't yet watched the McMcGregor House, go watch it. I don't know why you would watch this before that. I should have said something in the beginning of like, don't watch this until. If we can put like an edited, don't watch this until you watch.
I'll throw it in the Discord server and someone can edit it.
Yeah, no worries.
Cool, I got it.
Cool.
It's gotta be
But
like
yeah.
some like warning.
Well, thank you guys for watching. Have a good day.